I'm Cam. I'm a partner in the Sydney office. I've been with the firm for around a year, and I've also only been in the country for around a year, so kind of pretty new, and can probably relate in many ways to how all of you may feel. From a work perspective, I do technology risk work in the financial services sector, so I work with a number of the banks in Sydney.
My name's Alex. I'm a partner in the Sydney firm as well. I am in our cloud and digital practice, but I specialise in health digital transformation. So backstory, before joining PwC, in working for New South Wales Health, and I worked for a number of other health agencies around health tech transformation. And so I've pretty much done that work since joining PwC. So we've built a pretty big practice around health, and we've got a great digital health team.
And I'm Stacey. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for our financial advisory business. So within that business is tax, deals, energy transition, legal and PwC private. And my role is to work with all the enabling functions teams who help us go to market every day. So people strategy, marketing, digital transformation, risk and quality, finance, all the various functions that kind of enable the business to operate on a day-to-day basis is part of what I get to play in that sandpit every day. So over to you. What would you like to ask us?
About any topic,
anything,
right?
yeah.
Anything.
What was one thing that you struggled with when first starting here, and how did you work through it?
So I had been with NAB for a decade before I joined PwC, and I knew what I was doing. I knew relationships, so I had a problem, I knew who to turn to, I knew the subject matter. And then when you start in a new company, you start from kind of ground zero. And so I think that's probably the most unusual feeling if you've been somewhere where you kind of know what you're doing, and you guys are at uni, you know what you're doing every day, and then you have to start a new company and learn it all. So I think the most important thing is to understand you're not expected to have the answers, and to take the time to build your relationships and get to know the business that you're operating in and what it's all about, and just take time to settle in rather than putting pressure on yourself. Because I think in those first few months, that's what can feel the most strange, is that almost everything you come across will feel new and different. And you just got to give yourself time to kind of be comfortable almost in that ambiguity, and give yourself time. That's probably my...
If I go back to when I was a grad, which was many years ago, like I just remember this so clearly, right? And I went to university in a different country. I don't know what the schedule is like, but like I realized I've only got like 15 days or whatever, 20 days of leave, and I was used to such long holidays at university, so that was like a big, and then I was just tired. Like I wasn't used to working like a full day because, you know, I wasn't necessarily as studious as I should have been at university, so I didn't have a full day. So just that adjusting to not having as much of a holiday as I was used to, and then working a full day, like I was actually quite tired for the first few months, and then kind of I didn't have the strategy. I just kind of got used to it. But I just remember that so vividly when I started.
I think I came from industry at a manager level, so I joined PwC, and the biggest thing for me was probably structural. PwC, and this will be a poor analogy, but a similar one that you can probably engage with, is industry jobs, roles and structures feel a lot like high school. You have a schedule, you have teachers, you know exactly what's happening at any given time because that's your year-end plan or your semester-end plan. University is a little bit more pick and mix. You have some guidelines along the way, but it's a lot more choose your own adventure. PwC is the equivalent of high school versus university. PwC is university. PwC is choose your own adventure. PwC is meet people, engage with people, learn more, engage more, choose another path. You'll have a role in a team. That focus for that team this year might be really focused around one particular client, for example, and then next year there's 5, 6, 7, 8 clients that you're focusing similar or aligned capability to. So it's really not a role that I knew what to expect. Like I walked in the front door and it felt like all of these foundations that I understood to be a job, a structure, in my schedule just fell away. And it was about finding a space in that worked for me, worked for the people I was working with, worked for my clients, and finding that structure where it didn't formally exist. So for me, it was not purely structural, but very I knew what I was doing, and the hierarchy was really well articulated. PwC is, the structure is articulated, but we work so collaboratively across those boundaries. There is no need for that kind of structure, if that makes sense.
I'm interested in working in assurance, and I have a question, like how do you define the innovative thinking in auditing? Because from what I know, auditing, like assurance is different as consulting and other jobs. It's more like compliance with the accounting framework. So I still want to know, how do you define the innovative and critical thinking?
Yeah, so
You're creative in assurance. I love it.
well, yeah. Again, I know I'm wearing a grey. I'm not wearing a grey suit today, but yeah. I mean, I guess I actually think we're very innovative in assurance, right? And it's probably more around it's a couple of things, right? So we think innovatively about the services that we offer. So assurance can be across a range of things, right? So who's followed ChatGPT? Everyone, I'm sure. Who's assuring the AI? Right? So assurance is about building trust and providing trust, and there's lots of different things that need assurance these days. So in terms of the products and services that we have, there's innovation all the time because more and more things need trust, right? So you think about cyber, you think about AI, you think about the metaverse, right? Who's providing assurance? Think about crypto. So there's a range of things from a services perspective, and I'm a tech guy, so I'm going to some of these things, but you think about the range of things. Then in terms of how we execute our services, we constantly innovating all the time. So in the old days, someone would maybe, select a sample of documents and trace it from a loan agreement to the general ledger. Nowadays, we will ingest 20,000 documents into an AI that'll automatically do that mapping for us. So we're constantly thinking about how we digitally transform the assurance services that we do. We think innovatively about how we deal with people, right? Hybrid work. How do we deal with different things? So, assurance if you just talk about it as auditing, right? You may not think about innovation, but I think the way we're wired and what we're encouraged to think about is in everything that we do across all the things that we do, how do we actually innovate? And we do a lot of it. So hope that answers the question.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a lot. Thank you.
So what's the key skill? What's the key skill you're looking for in audit and assurance for current standards and current world? So what are you?
In assurance in particular.
Yes.
We're getting assurance questions, right? It's like, yeah. So, in terms of technical skill, and Hayley will correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably less about the technical skill, right? And it's more about your ability to learn. So we believe that if you have the right attributes in terms of values and an ability to learn, then we can give you all the training you need to be successful in any one of those areas. So even in the technology space, and we've been having this debate recently, is it critical that I only recruit people with a technology background? No, because we can train you in the skills that you need. So it's the characteristics, it's the values, it's the learning agility that's key. And your degree proves that you have learning agility. And then we'll teach you the rest of the skills. So the underlying undergraduate skill is less important. And one of my colleagues said it earlier, what you're passionate about is probably the most important, and follow what you're passionate about.
Yes.
I have a civil engineering degree and I'm interested in digital transformation. Does it align with what the company is heading towards in terms of strategy, or are there any current projects that binds the two together?
There should be. I'm not across any that directly are, but that is definitely something that I think from two aspects. So we have folks in cloud and digital that will be focused on the digital transformation side. So we might leverage one of our alliance partners. I don't know if you've read about those. We've got Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, and others, a whole host of them. We do the product side, right? We actually have a full stack engineering capability. We've got front-end developers. We've got UX, UI folks working on experience design for products and solutions to do that digital transformation side. But then we've also got our our business operations or digital transformation ops folks, right, that might focus on the process transformation or the op model redesign or the org model redesign. My focus is very much in the cloud and digital space, so how do we solution for said business problems? But there's a whole range of capability that exists within our digital transformation consulting team that would be around, using some of that civil engineering capability to inform a lot of that advice and that guidance. So whether it's strategy or delivery, they would absolutely leverage that capability.
Process optimization
Yeah.
be more aligned with the strategy than actually?
Yeah, look, it depends. So, yes, you do touch on process optimization in strategy, but sometimes you'll focus on process optimization in delivery, right? There might be a strategy that you're aligning to or a strategy that you're benchmarking to, but you might redefine operations underneath the heading of a strategy. So yes, a strategy would cover it, but you also have a whole lot of delivery and operations work that you would do under the hood of that. And even in the work I do in the digital space, we talk business process optimization all the time because we're talking about implementing new technologies to optimize. So, yeah. Thank you so much, team.
Thank you.